Hello, welcome to the Stress Management Workshop brought to you by the Department of Health Promotions. I want to start by saying I really miss you all. I wish I could be presenting this workshop face to face, but this crisis that we're in at this particular time does not allow that, but that's okay. We're going to make the best of this situation, and we're going to talk about today tips to manage all the stress and the emotions that we're feeling around this crisis, this global pandemic that we're experiencing. We know that these challenging times cause us undue stress. We are dealing with something that we are not familiar with, that is completely foreign to us, that most of us never thought we would ever have to deal with in our lifetime, and it is absolutely causing us undue stress. It is something that is completely out of our locus of control. We've had to adapt our learning styles, our work styles, right? We've transitioned from being with our classmates and being face to face with faculty and staff to being isolated in our homes and doing distance learning. So this is absolutely a stressful time for us, and we're putting that out front. And this is the time where we learn how to manage our stress, how to lean into this, so that when we're on the other side of it, we are resilient, we're stronger, and we're wiser and prepared to deal with this in a better way should we ever have to face this type of situation in our life again. Some of the things that I hope you are going to be more informed about at the end of this workshop are the following. What is stress? The process and effects of stress, identifying your major stressors or the importance of that, some stress management tips and coping techniques, and then I'll leave you with a few resources so that you can do your own research around some of the information that is in this workshop if you want to look into it a little further. So what is stress? Stress is the body's physical, mental, and emotional response to any stressor or change that requires an adjustment or response. So you went on spring break and you had found that you were not able to come back to school, or you had to come back and pack up your dorm rooms and move back home instead of continuing with class, and for seniors graduating. That is a stressor, right? That is stress. Stress is a normal part of life. You can experience stress from your environment, from your body, from your thoughts. It is absolutely essential part of life. It is what gives us that will to continue and that will to live often. Because of our fight or flight response and because of stress, we are in a position often to manage challenges and things that could possibly be a threat to us in our life. So although this is a challenging time and we're under a lot of stress, stress is a normal and necessary part of life. The stress that we experience is rooted in the fight or flight response, which is the way that we feel, the way our body responds when we're challenged in our life, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional. What are the types of stress? Well, stress can result from both positive or negative situations. Acute stress is your fight or flight response, your body's immediate reaction to a perceived threat, challenge, or scare. Chronic stress is a result of continuing stress that tends to mount, right, without relief. They pile up and sort of hang around until you find yourself in a situation where you're having to seek some professional help to give you some tools to manage that stress. And then there's eustress, that positive stress, right, that comes from planning a trip or preparing for a wedding, right, preparing for a spring break holiday or for a Christmas holiday or other exciting event that we're planning, but that causes us to have that stress of getting ready for that trip and preparing for that. So what are stressors? Your stressors would be the events or conditions in your surroundings that trigger stress. You have to know your individual stressors in order to be able to manage your stress response. So you want to become familiar with your individual stressors, the things that cause you stress, so that you can manage your reaction to that stress or your stress response. Let's talk a second or two about the fight or flight response. The immediate response to a stressor is called the fight or flight response, or the acute stress response. It's that reaction in your body that you have in response to a perceived attack or a threat to your survival. So if you were almost in a car accident, or you maybe lost control of your car for a second, right, in the middle of an ice storm, or if you're me, you were walking on campus and a happy squirrel, ran out in front of you, and you almost turned around and ran the other direction. Your flight response was activated. It prepares your body to fight, flight, right? Or freeze, actually, even in a situation of danger. Freezing is something you never want to do if we're in danger, but it does prepare, this response does prepare your body to fight or flee. And if we don't know how to manage or react to that fight or flight response, sometimes we do freeze in a situation of danger. So what happens physiologically during that fight or flight response? During that response, your sympathetic nervous system stimulates the adrenal glands to release adrenaline and noradrenaline. They're also called catecholamines. And so this causes your heart rate, your blood pressure, your respiration, right, to all increase. And so you'll find that you have heart palpitations, you may feel lightheaded, your heart may feel as if it's pounding, right? You'll find that you're nauseous or you're shaky, your palms may be sweaty. It takes a little bit, probably about 20 to 60 minutes after a perceived threat is gone, before your body returns to what we call homeostasis, or to normal. If that stress remains, however, then your body remains in acute stress. And the result of that is negative impacts on your physical, mental, and emotional health. So it behooves us to know what our stressors are so that we can manage our stress, right, and our response to those stressors, so that we don't remain in that acute stress phase and have our bodies beat up as a result of that. So what do you notice going on in your body when something startles you on an exam, or before an exam, or before a competition? Maybe you're at the starting line for a race, right? Or you're warming up before a basketball competition or a wrestling meet. Those feelings that you have in your body when you feel like your heart is palpitating and you're short of breath and your brain seems super clear or foggy, right? And maybe you're lightheaded. This is all your stress response. That is your body's fight or flight response to that competition, right? To that stress that is caused by that competition that you're about to experience. So stress does impact you physically. It impacts you psychologically, right? Mental and emotionally. Some of the feelings that you'll find when your emotional stress is happening is you may find that your temper is short, right? If stress affects you emotionally, you may find that you're angry, you're irritable, you're having difficulty concentrating in class or focusing on your homework, right? You're trying to read a chapter and you're reading the same line over and over again. You're feeling out of control or overwhelmed. You may find that you're restless. All of those different feelings, right, and experiences are the result of the emotional impact of stress or psychological response to stress. So you want to know what your stressors are. You want to identify those stressors, or those things that trigger your stress response. Identify them. Because if we do that, they can't consume us, right? Make a list of the situations, the concerns, the challenges that trigger your stress response, and then develop strategies to manage them. Sort of how we're developing strategies to mitigate, right, the spread of this disease. You're going to develop strategies to mitigate your response to those stressors. So let's talk a little bit about external and internal stressors. So external stressors are the ones that you see with major life changes. Remember I talked about that eustress? And so marriage, maybe you got a promotion on your job, you're getting married, you may have the loss of a loved one, right? COVID-19 is a major life change. Suddenly this environmental, right, change, you had to go from on campus to learning to virtual learning, right? This unpredictable event. you have an increase in tuition, or you have an uninvited guest, or you have a global pandemic, right, that you were not expecting or thought you'd never experience. Or maybe it's in relation to a workplace. Maybe you have an impossible workload, right, an impossible course load. You have urgent deadlines, right, a demanding boss. You have social isolation, so you're an extrovert and you're used to being around people, but now you're socially distanced. Or maybe you have anxiety around new relationships and meeting new people. These are all considered external stressors. So then what are internal stressors? Well, those things that are inside, that are self-induced, your feelings, your thoughts, right? If you have a fear of public speaking, if you have a fear of spiders, right? You have a fear of germs, maybe you're a germaphobe. If you feel like anything is out of your control, that's an internal stressor. So this whole situation is out of your control. If you feel like things are uncertain, that may be an internal stressor for you. So there's a lot of uncertainty around this situation. If you're waiting for results for an exam or a medical test result, that would be an internal stressor. So we can control our thoughts and our attitudes and our fears. It just takes practice, right? Often we can't control the circumstances and situations. Some of them that happen in our lives are out of our control, but what we can control is our reaction to those things, how we respond to those circumstances and challenges in our life. That makes the difference in terms of our outcome, whether we deal with the challenges and come out successful, right, and stronger and wiser and more resilient from it, or whether we fall under the pressure of those stressors. And so we want to practice controlling our thoughts and our attitudes and our fears. And we can do that and learn to manage our stress and our anxiety around these challenges and circumstances. So identify your stress cues. Your mind, your body, your emotions, your behavior. Identify how you react to these stressors by identifying your early stress cues. And often the cues can be overlooked until we become symptomatic. So we may be under a lot of stress and we don't even realize it until all of a sudden we're feeling aches and pains, right? We find that we're not able to sleep. We have some other symptoms that we'll talk about in a bit that are cues that we're under stress. And we don't want to miss those. We want to identify those cues so that we can manage the stress in a productive way, so that we can make sure that our resolve and our resilience is strengthened, right? And we become stronger and better able to manage our stress. Some symptoms of chronic stress or unmanaged stress are physical and psychological, would include chronic neck and back pain, change in appetite. We may find that we're not able to sleep or we're very sleepy. You may find that you have a lowered immune system, so any and everything that comes around you seem to catch, whether it be a stomach virus or a common cold. You may have what we call TMJ, which is temporomandibular joint syndrome, where we're clenching our teeth. You may find that when you open your mouth wide, your jaws pop, right? Because we're clenching at night or during the day. You'll have those aches and pains that you don't know how you got them. You don't remember injuring yourself, but you feel achy and sore. And then psychological symptoms would include difficulty concentrating, mood changes, either you're up one moment and down the next, right? Or maybe you're just down all the time and you're moody, you're in a bad mood or sad all the time. You may feel anxious, like you're waiting for that shoe to drop all the time, right? You have panic attacks with heart palpitations, dizziness, and nausea for no reason. You may find that you're depressed or that you have suicidal thoughts. And I do want to add that if you find that you're depressed for even more than a week at a time, right, and you're having any thoughts at all about suicide or suicidal ideology, you need to go quite a bit further than just a workshop, right, for stress management. You need to reach out to your local counseling agency, to your primary care provider, or someone who can connect you with a counseling service so that you can talk this out and they can provide you some tools or medication or whatever you need to get you through this rough point in your life. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Some strategies to manage external stressors would be eating healthy, making sure that you're active, especially now, because we'll find ourselves sitting a lot, sitting in front of your laptop, sitting on the couch watching Netflix, or in a chair playing video games. So you want to make sure that you're exercising. Make sure that you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Don't wait until the last minute before a test to study, so that you're pulling all-nighters. Make sure you're getting that 7 to 9 hours and managing your time wisely. So you're reading your chapters in advance, you're reviewing your notes in advance, and so that you're ready for an exam when it comes, and you're not having to spend all the night studying for an exam and missing on that sleep that you need. Sleep is healing, not just for beauty. Again, ask for help. Don't be afraid to laugh. Even in these challenging times, laughter is healing. It lowers the blood pressure, right? It heals the body. It releases endorphins and helps you to laugh even harder. So find humor in something, right? And laugh. Be grateful. Think about all the things that you have and then the things that you don't have. And you'll find that you have a lot more to be grateful for than not. Be assertive, right? Be assertive and take the initiative. Jump on new things. Consider this. This is a new challenge for you. And if you lean into this, and when we get through this, we're going to come out on the other side of it wiser and stronger and more resilient. Practice problem solving. So for the things that you can solve, list them and then write down ways to solve them. And those that you can't, disregard them because it's out of your control. Make sure that you're managing your time wisely and focusing on what is important to you. Strategies to manage your internal stressors. You'll want to reframe your thoughts. Write down your problems and things that are causing you stress, and the thoughts, things that you have, what's in your mind, what are you thinking about right now, what's causing you to feel sad, what emotions do you have around this situation, circumstance, whatever it is, whether it be COVID-19 or just being away from your friends, or being at home in a space you didn't expect to be in at this present time. Write those feelings down and process them. Write down how you feel about it. Journal every day about this experience. You can come back and look at it later in your life after you've gone through it and realize how strong you were, right? List 4 alternative thoughts. So if you're thinking negative thoughts, list an alternative thought for every negative thought that you have, and then write some evidence to support that alternative thought. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to pass this class because I'm too distracted, an alternative thought would be, I'm going to sit down and find time to review my notes and focus on this class, and I'm going to do great in it. I'm going to give it the best that I can, and I'm going to pass this class with flying colors. All right? I'm capable of focusing on my lecture and on the review so that I can do well in this class. Write down that evidence to support them and have a plan around that. Choose a positive mindset. So instead of starting the day with, oh, here we go again, start the day with, today is the first day of the rest of my life, and I'm going to give it all that I have to make it the best day, right? Start that day with positive affirmations. And if negative thoughts come into your head, transform those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Focus on the bright and shiny things, the good things that make you feel good in your day, and focus on those. Be present in the moment. We can't do anything to change what happened yesterday. We have no control over what's going to happen tomorrow that we're not aware of. So we have to focus on the here and now. Focus on today and on the present and on the things that you do have control over, which is your reaction to the things that happen in that day. Manage stress through relaxation. Trigger your relaxation response. You can turn off your fight or flight by using breathing exercises, taking nice deep breaths in, holding those, and then relaxing and exhaling nice and slow. You can do that nice deep breathing exercise numerous times throughout the day. Whenever you feel like your fight or flight response has been triggered, take that nice deep breath in for 6 and then blow that out nice and slow for 4. You can also practice switching off that response through progressive muscle relaxation, where you tighten each muscle group one at a time and hold it for about 4 or 5 seconds, and then let that muscle relax. You would start from the bottom of your feet, right, and your toes, through your calves, your thighs, your glutes, your abdominal muscles, your shoulders, your face, your hands, your arms, one muscle group at a time, and then relax. And then as a final progressive muscle relaxation exercise, you'll tighten all of the muscles at once, hold them for 5 seconds, and then let them release. And feel your whole body relax. Practice that technique multiple times during the day so that when that fight or flight response is triggered, you'll be able to jump right into that technique and have it be second nature to you. And it really works. I do it all the time, along with your progressive muscle relaxation and your deep breathing technique to manage stress. Some other stress management techniques would be journaling. As I mentioned earlier, this is a wonderful time to journal this experience. Exercise or group fitness classes. Father Kathy has a yoga class on the Cornell College website. That yoga class is also on the Health Promotions Facebook page. It's a link. Zumba, a link to a Zumba group fitness will be on the Health Promotions Facebook page, on the Cornell College Facebook page, and on the Lester Baresh Wellness Center Facebook page beginning April 17th. So you'll want to come and dance with me on that day. Social support is also important. Use whatever social media platform that you typically use to connect with your classmates virtually. There are all kinds of concerts and paint and sip activities that are coming up. So stick closely to your email. Stay close to your email. Check the Cornell student portal regularly. We're repurposing the announcement section of that portal to have some blogs and some other events listed for things that you can connect with to keep you connected and engaged with Cornell. Make sure that you watch a comedy movie or stand-up comedian so that you're laughing. Laugh several times a day, right? It's healing to laugh. There's always something to laugh about. And then practice gratitude daily. Mindfulness is also something that is really beneficial during stressful times. Father Kathy has links to the mindfulness that she recorded. I think those are also on the Cornell College Facebook page. And don't forget to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. It's not about beauty, right? It's about restoration. Sleep is restoration and healing. So be sure that you're getting an adequate amount of sleep, 7 to 9 hours minimum each night. And then here's a list of the references that I used for this workshop. If you want to take a picture of them with your phone or jot a couple of those down, check out those articles. They give in-depth information about how to manage your stress. They talk about endurance and sports anxiety even, and all types of good information are in these resources. So check them out.